In today's video, I'm going to change the handbrake cable on the R50. Let's go out and have a little look at it. Apologies for the wind in advance, but this is what we're going to be changing. I've had to cut the handbrake cable there when I was refitting the fuel tank strap, and as you can see, it's seized. The cable's seized in the caliper itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the caliper, take it onto the bench, and then get that section out. If we look at the other side, I'll show you how it should be. This is how it should be. That should easily come out. As you can see there, that's coming out quite easily. That should easily come out without any problems. But what they tend to do is they tend to seize in this carrier or the hole, because the caliper is aluminium and the sleeve that goes into it is steel. Quite a poor design, but it's just a problem that we'll have to overcome. So first of all, what we want to do is jump into the car and access the handbrake cable from inside the car. Moving inside the car, the first thing you want to do is get this handbrake gaiter off. So if you just use a little pry tool, you can pry round the sides of it and pop the clips, and you can see the clips there and there. So once you've popped the clips out, just pull the gaiter to the side. Next, you've got a screw just here, so you want to undo this. This is all loose. I've already had this off because I was working on the fuel tank strap and I had to slacken off the handbrake cable. So don't lose the screw, put that away somewhere safe. Now there's 4 clips, one about here, one about here, here and there. So basically you want to try and get your hands under it and pull it out gently, preferably without breaking the clips, and then pull it to the side, and you can see the clips. You can see the clips here that I'm talking about. So you want to take this away and get this set aside. Also, don't forget to disconnect your ABS or your run flat warning light. This is a plug here, and it just plugs into the back of the switch there. Once you've got all that removed and out the way, you want to get a 13mm socket, preferably a deep reach, because the length on this will be quite long. Get into it and slacken off the handbrake cable most of the way. That way it will give you plenty of room to unhook the cables from the calipers. So deep reach, 13mm into there, and wind that back. Once you've done that, you will have to take off the plastic trim here that surrounds the handbrake itself. So first of all, you want to disconnect the plug here and carefully pry out these plastic clips that hold the handbrake warning light cable in position. So if we just carefully pull them out, just be careful because they are delicate, like so. And as you can see there, that's what they look like. That one's not very clever, but it won't matter. Once you've got that out the road, you want a 10mm socket and undo these, and I've left a 10mm socket in the garage, so I'll quickly just whip off these four. So you've got 2 at the back, 2 at the front, 10 mils, undo them, take it out. Right, that's me undone them all. So just carefully lift this up. You can just leave the front bolts or nuts in position so you don't lose them, and obviously put your other nuts somewhere safe. So I'll just put all that in the back seat. Now that's us got into here. We've slackened off the handbrake cable, so this will be really flexible now. So what you want to do next is move round to the back of the caliper and unhook it. Moving back out to the car, you want to unhook your cable from the calipers itself. Do that on both sides. Also, there'll be a heat shield above the exhaust. I've removed it because obviously I was doing the fuel tank strap. You can see the new strap there, but you'll have to remove the heat shield as well. That's just held on by a series of screws. The chances are that it will more than likely be rotten, so be careful when you're removing it. So remove the heat shield, and then that will give you access to the back of the handbrake cables, as you can see there. The one with the white end, that was one that I replaced a few years ago. The one with the silver end is the OEM one, and there'll be a little retaining ring on the inside holding that on, so we'll have to prise that off so that it releases the cable from the body of the car. Inside the car now, I've got the light shining down, not that we'll be able to see it, but just down here there's a metal ring which holds the inside of the cable inside the car. That's what we want to try and prise off, which will allow the cable to pull through. It can be quite awkward, and I very much doubt we'll catch it on camera. But what I'm going to do is, I've got a little thin screwdriver here. I'm going to put that down the gap there and prise it apart. Right, eventually, after poking about with the little screwdriver, try and get the thinnest one that you can get. Once you're poking about down here, you will release this clip here. I'll show you if I can get it out. There we go. Right, that's a little clip. That's a little retaining clip there, and that's what you want to get out. If you fail to take that out, you'll never get the old handbrake cable out, and you'll be struggling and saying lots of bad words. So once that's out, that'll allow you to pull the handbrake cable out from under the car. Now we're back under the car again. I'm just going to unhook the cable from the fuel tank and then just draw it out, and you can see there how easy that comes out. So once you've done that, you just want to pull the old cable away. Right, now the handbrake cable's out. Where I'm shining the torch there, you can see the bracket that the cable goes through. This comes in the kit as well, so you want to remove that. It looks like it's a 10mm bolt from memory, so I'll give that a clean up and we'll whip that off. Right, that's the bolt there. I want to give a little clean off. Right, that's that bolt off. Right, that's that bolt off, and it is a 9mm, not a 10. So there we go. So now that's that bracket up there. Redundant. So that can go in the bin. Don't need that. Now I'm going to whip the caliper off because that's where the cable's stuck on. Right, this is what's stuck here. Now that it's off the bench we can get a better look at it. You can see this sleeve of the handbrake cable is stuck inside here. Now that should come out quite easily, but obviously it doesn't. You can actually see the corrosion round about it. So what I'll do is I'll try and separate that with a punch or a chisel first. If not, I'll just cut it off. But obviously I'll need to be careful cutting it. We've had a bit of an accident. That should be on there like that. The caliper fell out the vise and landed on the floor, and it's broken one of the ears off the caliper. All because I was drifting this out, and as you can see there, it was starting to come out. So I'm going to scrap that idea, and I'm going to order a new pair of calipers. I've already overhauled the fronts, so I may as well overhaul the rears. So I'll nip away, put an order in, and hopefully we'll have a new caliper in the next day or two. This is about a week later now, and as you can see I've got another caliper here. I ended up buying a second-hand caliper because the calipers that I ordered for the car, they were the later type with the banjo bolt fitting here, so that hole was slightly bigger, obviously to accommodate the banjo bolt. So I just sent them back, went to the breaker's yard and picked up that, and yeah, that looks pretty decent. Believe it or not, I have given it a little clean up. It was quite dirty. It still is dirty, but it's a lot better than what it was. I've wound the piston back on it, piston seal. That seems good, so I don't need to change that. And I've fitted a new bleed nipple to it, which I was going to do to the car anyway. So yeah, I'll get that fired on the car, and then we'll finally get the handbrake cable in. Right, back out of the car. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for the noisy lawnmowers, strimmers, and God knows what else. There seems to be a bit of a competition in the street to cut their grass. Anyway, what we'll do now is we'll get the handbrake refitted. I've put the caliper back on there, as you can see, and I've got some grease which I'm going to put round the rubber ring on that, and also a little smear round the handbrake cable itself where it goes into the caliper, just to make it easier if it has to come off again in the future. I'm just going to put a little smear of silicone grease around or inside the hole there, and also I'll put a little smear on here. There's a rubber ring on that, so that'll help it go in. So obviously first things first, I want to hook up the cable. Now there's a flat on that, and there's a flat on the underside of here, so you want to make sure that they line up like so, and then you may as well just pull the cable over the thingy. so. Right, once we've got that in, we need to put this bracket here. That has to go back in, and also we'll need to route it the correct way through the car. Right, this is quite awkward to film, but you want to wiggle the handbrake cable in. There's a little tang on the bottom of the new bracket, and there's a hole, so you want to line the tang up with the hole so it slides in. It's hard to do this one-handed. That's roughly about it there, and then put your bolt in. Next question, where have I put the bloody bolt? I'll go and find the bolt and I'll put that in. That's the bracket for the handbrake cable now, secured onto the trailing arm. I hope this is a better view, but there's a little tang just under there and a little hole in the trailing arm itself, so just fit that into the hole, then spin the bracket round, line it up with the hole, and then fire your nut back in or your bolt, and that'll be that. Now we need to hook the handbrake cable onto the underside of the fuel tank and then feed it into the car. Right, I'll try and do this one-handed. So now we've got it hooked onto the suspension arm, we just need to pop the cable back into its clips. And there's the hole there, we'll just shove that in, like so. And then obviously hook it in there. Right, that's the handbrake cable in. We've lined it up here, so now we can go inside and then hook that cable onto the handbrake lever itself. That's just moved back into the car, and as you can see there, the handbrake cables came through. So next we want to hook that into the main bracket itself. Right, that's the cable in. I had to do that off camera because I needed two hands for it. So now that's in position, we can move back to the screw at the front and we can tighten up the handbrake cable. And what that will also do as well, it'll also pull the handbrake cable tight against the body of the car, the new one that we've fitted. Or if you fitted both, it'll pull the two of them tight in as well. That's a handbrake cable now fully tightened up. It'll hold on about 4 clicks now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's just how I like it. I know that it'll hold nice and securely. So now it's just a matter of putting all this back together again and putting the heat shield back on the underside. And that's everything put together back in here. Remember, don't forget to plug in your cable for your parking brake warning light, and also your run flat reset switch as well. So if you haven't plugged them in, you'll need to take all that off again and plug them in. And finally, to finish off with, reattach your heat shield. You may have to drop the exhaust slightly. If you have to do that, just undo the bolt at each side and then let it down a little. I managed to bend and twist it all around and get it back in. So yeah, off camera I have also bled the brakes, but if you haven't removed your calipers you won't need to do that. So anyway guys, I hope you have found this helpful. If you have, please hit the like button, and if you're not already subscribed, if you can hit that subscribe button as well. Bye for now.